I was babysitting for a wealthy family when I heard two soft knocks at the door and immediately called the police. I agreed to babysit for a wealthy family 2 hours away because I was a broke teenager and needed the money. The mom only had one rule: if you hear two soft knocks, don't open the door. I thought it was a bit strange but brushed it off because the job paid good. They had two little girls, 6 and 9, who were as sweet as angels and made the job so easy. For the first week, everything went normal. I'd arrive, play with the kids for a few hours, put them to bed, and leave when their mom came home around 11. I was so happy that I'd finally found a good job, and that it even paid well enough to get a few extra treats for myself. I arrived on Monday and said goodbye to the mom, promising that I'd take good care of her kids. I assured her that everything would be fine and then shut the door behind her. The girls were doing their homework peacefully in the kitchen, so I plopped down on the couch with my phone. A few hours later, the girls were playing with their dolls when I heard two soft knocks. I started to stand up to get the door when I heard the mom's voice in my head. If you hear two soft knocks, don't open the door. I sat back down, planning to ignore it for whatever reason until it stopped. It had been 10 minutes and whoever was at the door seemed to have given up. But just as I was thinking how it had probably just been the wind, there it was again. Two soft knocks, this time slower and more deliberate. This time the girls heard it and the older one began to cry. "Mommy said not to let him in," she sobbed. "Who's him?" I asked, starting to get worried. But she just sobbed harder. I rushed over to her side when we heard the knocks again. I began to panic, wondering if I should call their mom. It was too late for visitors, and too early for their mom to be home. Besides, she had a key. Once the next set of knocks came, I wasted no time with the kids and led them upstairs. "Does this happen a lot?" I asked the older girl, trying to sound calm. "Sometimes it happens, and Mommy makes us hide in my closet while she calls someone. Then we hear lots of shouting and Mommy tells us to be quiet," she explained through tears. The 6-year-old sees her sister crying and begins to cry too, despite not knowing what's going on. 1 million thoughts are going through my head right now, but I pick up the younger sister and lead the girls to their closet. It's actually pretty big and I manage to squeeze in there with them. I pick up my phone and dial 911. I give them our address and just hope for the best, trying to comfort the kids, telling them everything's going to be all right. They're starting to calm down when we hear a big crash that sounds like glass breaking. The girls cover their ears and we hear some slurred talking in a man's voice. I'm wondering what the heck is happening when I hear soft footsteps coming up the stairs. I can hear my heart beating in my chest, and I feel like I might start crying too. The floor shakes as doors open and close. "I think he's looking for us," whispers the older girl. I put my finger over her mouth as I try not to let her see the tears of fear rolling down my cheeks. I hear a loud ding and think that that's it. Now we are done for because I forgot to put my phone on silent. If we die, it's all my fault, I think to myself. The footsteps stop for a moment and then start heading in our direction, getting louder as he gets closer. My soul leaves my body as I hear the door slowly creak open and I think, so this is it. This is how I die, in a 9-year-old's closet surrounded by wealth. Suddenly we hear yelling and the sound of someone being tackled to the floor. I sigh of relief and pat the younger girl on the head. Turns out, the mom's ex-husband gets occasionally drunk and tried to break into their house. They got a restraining order against him, and he hadn't broken in months. But she was so paranoid that she repeated that rule to every babysitter because that's how he knocked every time he was drunk. And that paranoia that most people called crazy was the thing that saved our lives. Now I jump every time someone knocks.